No, I believe I am live. Always takes a minute to show up. So I just give a couple minutes. Hi, Yasmika. Hello, Jessica. Symphony, nice to see you. Destiny, hello. Nice to see you. Just let everybody come in here for a few minutes. A lot of energy. Whoo. Don't know if you guys can hear the noise. They're working on the roof. So there's a lot of banging going on. Hopefully it's not too loud. Hi, Shoko. Nice to see you as well. Beautiful. All right, we're just going to let people come in. I'm just going to begin to open this energy for everybody that's here. Hello, Angela. Hi, Alwell. Nice to see you. Berlin. Nice. We're just going to expand this energy. I'm just expanding the space. Hi, Christina. Ooh. Just going to open up this space. Hello, hello. Hi, Lighthearted. Nice to see you too. Deborah, feels great to see you. Thank you. Thank you. Nice to see everybody here. Like I said, there's some noise going on. So I normally would turn on the original sound, and I'll do that if I do an activation, but you will hear a lot of sound that's going to go on in the background. But I am going to expand the space just a little bit more. I started to go into the energy, and I'm just feeling so much energy. It does feel that it's, starting to calm down a little bit. That'd be great. Thanks, Deborah. Yeah, hit the like button, like, share, subscribe, please. I don't even have 1,000 subscribers yet, and that would be great to get 1,000. I would love that. Anyway, so let's, I'm just want to open this energy a bit more. So everybody just take some nice deep breaths, and let's just bring this energy together. So I feel a lot of energy coming in today. It's an interesting, I'm choosing to talk about being human again. We're still doing the soul alchemy, know thyself, but this is the third part of the being human. And last time I started to talk about, the energy and frequency of suicide and how that's playing out in our energetics. And it's interesting because I think what's come forward from that to talk about today is about what I've noticed is that, we have on the planet so much of the separation and the segregation, all this types of stuff, which is what we are releasing. We're recognizing that we're all one in one way or the other, one as human beings, as a collective, as certainly as energetics, as energy beings. And so, there's an interesting thing that's been coming up a lot lately that I've started to notice where, so we have, all the different ways that we've been releasing the separation, whether we're from a different country or whether we have, cultures that are different, or the skin color, age, sex, whatever. But, I also started to notice that there is this interesting thing going on in the awakening where there seems to be this separation between collectives and collective groups, and particularly in how we see ourselves in terms of these various different collectives. So we have, like the reptilian consciousness, the Anunnaki consciousness, or, the Andromedan, the Arcturian, all the various different consciousness. And there's all these belief systems in relationship to the different consciousnesses, whether they're good or bad, or, this whole dialogue of judgment and separations playing out. So what I started to notice is that when an individual is in some type of recognition of what their lineage is, and say, like, if your lineage is part of the Anunnaki, then there's this like, oh my God, no, I couldn't be that, or, because I'm like all light and I'm pure and I'm pure source consciousness. Well, of course you are, pure source consciousness, but we all have, timelines and lineage of many different aspects of self that we participated in. And I think if we started to have the thought that, these timelines are basically characters in a play that our soul has written for experience. And so, these are different experiences, and the idea of bringing them home is like we're shining light upon them. And there's no difference in shining light upon these aspects of self than the disclosure that's going on the planet. And the reason that disclosure is important, because it's about shining light on it. So think about it literally, that I am shining the light upon the darkness, which then there is no darkness. And so it's really like, this is what is happening for us. And most all of us, I think pretty much everybody on the planet, has participated in both sides of the creation of this matrix that we're talking about, this inverted matrix at some point, because we've had many, many different lifetimes, and we're profound beings of light, and we came here for a divine purpose to help awaken humanity. But the awakening part is we are the collective, and these energies that are still playing out here can continue to play out if we also hide and deny who we are, and in some kind of a fear. And I've noticed this with people, that there's this, like I said, there's an energy in there where it's like, no, I have to be completely aligned with just the Christ consciousness. And of course we are, but we may have layers of things that are coming up that are needing to have light shine upon them to be released. And certainly fear is a big part of it. So if I have a fear inside of me of like, oh, I can't possibly have had, a lineage in any of this. And this is playing out because there's so much dialogue on the planet about good and bad, right and wrong. And I'm not saying that we don't have human experiences, we do. But from a pure source perspective, there is no really good or bad, right or wrong. It's just simply experiences. And this just feels super important to start to bring forward into dialogue, talk about, because it's like there's a shame in having participated in some of these lineage and these types of things, but that is perpetuating the situations that are on the planet that we're sitting with, that we're dealing with. And so, and how these things, they begin to play out in your day-to-day in your life. It's why I talked about kind of suicide last time, and how that's playing out is if we didn't make it in a lifetime and we literally committed suicide, then, when we come into this lifetime after that, then we're going to feel like nothing in this lifetime. And it's going to be very difficult to connect to anything. And so not only is it going to be difficult to connect to anything in your own life, but you might be a type of person that easily disconnects from other people as well, that you just cut them off and shut it off because you don't know how to communicate. That's all connected to that same energetic field that I didn't make it. And it's really just a density, because, death is not what we think it is. It's simply a transition of frequency and energy. It's been played out on the planet as something very different, but it is a frequency change. It's a difference. So, but if you do something like kill yourself and you think it's going to change on the other side, it doesn't, because your energy. So you just no longer have a physical body, but you're in the same density. So, this is what is trying to come forward right now to recognize. And so the idea of knowing our lineage, of knowing who we are, what characters we've played, is telling us, the frequency and energy of those timelines. And if we continue to go in places of fear and judgment and so on about them, then we're going to carry that in this being, in this lifetime here. And us carrying it is carrying it as the collective, because I am the collective. Okay, so there's not a separation of that. So this feels like what wants to really come through, and I can certainly say a lot, but I'm really open to questions. So let's see if there's any questions that are coming forward. Okay, yes, Mika, hi, Kathleen. Do you believe that we will be able at some point to visually see the lineage in others, either in the energetics or maybe literally? Yes, of course, we absolutely can already. We just don't know. We just don't identify them. We don't know. But you'll be able to feel like there's a certain feeling of many different lineage. So, if once you allow yourself to let go and get to know who you are, and there's just so many multidimensional layers to try to explain this, but say like the more denser energies that we're familiar with, like the Anunnaki or the reptilian consciousness or so on. And why I'm referring to those as the more denser is because they are the more energetics, and it's not about good or bad, right or wrong, not that they haven't played out roles that are in the enslavement, imprisonment of humanity, but the energetics of these beings has a density, sort of structural aspects. So like I've carried some of the Anunnaki energy, and so there's a certain presence that comes with that. It's like whether or not we're playing out those energetics is a different story, but you'll begin to feel that. And you can, if you really feel like what we think of as the angelic, and there's different levels of angelic too, because the what I'll say, sort of the pure angelic frequencies, they feel like very, very light, and there's a lightness to those energetics. And then there's, the higher level beings, and it depends, and it's not about hierarchy. Like my particular consciousness is not from this universal complex. And I mentioned in my bio, I talk about having a lineage with a life architect energy. And that energetic is connected to the geometries of creating life itself. And so that's an essence of my own energetic. So it's going to be a large field, and it has geometries to it, so that I have complexity to my energetics. You'll start to notice those things within yourself when you let go, and absolutely you'll notice them in others. And even in some of the features and things, as we start to awaken more with what these collectives are, whether, Pleiadian, there's a certain frequency that comes with Pleiadian and Andromedan, Arcturian, we know these types of, but there's also larger energetics in the field. But what I think the most important that I'm trying to bring today is that humanity's still playing out the good, bad, right, wrong. I want to be this one, I don't want to be that one energy. And this is what I'm trying to talk about, so that it doesn't matter, what character I played, because ultimately I am source consciousness, period, is the bigger piece in that. And I think once we unfold the various lineages of the characters I've played, and I allow that to be pure light that I move, then I can feel the essence of my energetics that I am. And this is what wants to try to come forward, and there's a lot of information in this. Let's see. Symphony, I have a big judgment against animal abuse. Does that mean I must have done that? Well, that's an interesting thing. Perhaps we often in lifetimes we can, yes, have been the abuser, and so we have a lot of awareness about that in this lifetime. So that's kind of a multi-layered question there, but it's more where certainly when we have, I mean, I have a strong energetic when it comes to animals, huge. However, there was a time when I ate animals. I don't eat animals now, and I don't have a judgment about people eating animals. But what I will point out is that when we can do a bypassing, when we have the ability to like go in a grocery store and see meat and not have it connected as an animal, that is like an awareness that I have had a timeline where I was disconnected from the awareness that animals are sentient beings. And so, because I'm in that energetic, I'm able to be in that energetic field, and it doesn't, again, make it right or wrong, good or bad. It's just an awareness. And then, but when you start to notice, and that's what occurred for me, is I started to notice, like, I couldn't bypass it anymore. And so once you can't bypass it anymore is when I say we shine light upon that aspect of self. We brought home those soul fragments that had disconnected, that had separated me from really feeling the deeper essence of the connectedness of, the animals as consciousness, as one. And so this is what we're waking up to. And like, we know in like a lot of the natives, if they've, eaten animals, there's a big respect for that. And so that's different than what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where we have shut off, we've connected to that shutting off energetics. And we're consciousness. So then we are participating in that. Hopefully that makes sense. And this is a lot of very deep subjects that are coming up here right now, but this is a huge energetic field that's really opening up, that I can see tons of geometry that's moving into the collective, and there's just so much going on here. And for those, I think everybody here knows me, but if you don't, I'm not arbitrarily talking. I carry the 0.4 frequencies, and I'm in the energetic field. And so things that are coming forward are in many, many, many different layers and levels of energetics. Let's see, Christina, in emotional disassociation, how we integrate all our dimensions to be in unity and harmony. Just discovered after doing some healing, I've done emotional dissociation for protecting myself. Yeah. Hi, Cathleena. Sometimes I'm so stuck in lack of self-belief, and disappointment in myself that it feels I need somebody to help me out. Is that the energy of being small as well as self-love? Yeah, it's definitely the energy of being small. It's the energy of embodying myself as the person and not knowing myself as source consciousness, having this experience called Jessica. So I become Jessica. And then when I become that, like, who have I become? And yes, it's that quality of the younger version of us. I think I mentioned this last time, but I'll mention it again, that really the origination of this false matrix began with the experience of what we now know as the definition of power, which is the false definition of power, which is power over someone or being powered by, over, you being the one powerful or being powered over by somebody. where the authentic definition of power is that there's nothing greater than that I am. And so because this was the origination, what's on the other side of that has been vulnerability. And we have what I call the false definition of vulnerability, which is like a weakness and a fear. But authentic vulnerability is divine truth. It is what it is. So when we have authentic power and authentic vulnerability together, then we have, you know, I am, there's nothing greater than that I am, and it is what it is. So I'm present. And so if we're able to have that at our core essence, which our core essence in all of us really is young. It's a younger version when we are awakening and continuing to awaken, you know, and I think most everyone on the planet, even I recognize that I still have aspects of myself that are very young, that are still coming forward, constantly wanting to come forward, because, you know, it hasn't felt safe, quote unquote, which is everything I'm talking about. We have that dialoguing, like, who have I been? What am I doing? What's right? What's wrong? Da, 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 da. So when you have that self-dialoguing all the time of the fear, it's that little me, you know, being like, can I really let go? And this is when we want to be the witnessing observer of ourselves. And as the witnessing observer, in the recognizing that I'm source consciousness, that there's nothing greater than that I am, and it is what it is, then I can hold that me within this body, within this space, so that she can come forward in the present moment and take the first steps into this reality, into an authentic experience, because that's all that really wants to happen. Is that all of that self-dialogue and all that is because we've been trained to prepare, make sure you know, have 3 steps ahead or 5 steps ahead or whatever. It's always about the future and taking forward. It's never about the now moment. But when we let go of that preparing and we allow ourselves to be in the unknown and we allow ourselves to have an authentic experience, this is when, you know, the magic happens. This is when I'm suddenly truly my multidimensional self in physical form, just allowing whatever to show up and come forward. As I do that, I get to know who I really am, all those characters and all those roles. It's like it becomes easier in releasing and releasing and releasing. The hard part is that it, you know, it feels scary. It feels like I could lose something. But when you realize that that's not possible, you know, how can I lose anything that I haven't even experienced? It's like releasing that, letting that go, and allowing yourself just to show up. It's a practice. Okay, let's see what we have here. I get what you're saying about animals, but plants have consciousness. Absolutely, plants have consciousness too. It's the same thing, you know, where when somebody can just pluck a leaf off a tree and do something, like I can't do any of that. You know, that's not anything I could have, you know, years ago. I can't do any of that now. That's not anything that's in my consciousness. So you are correct. Everything is consciousness. And we when you awaken, you have such a different compassion and love and care for everything. You know, it really, you just feel everything. I mean, I joke about it. I have a little ant farm on my floor because I don't know what to do with these ants that are in my plant. And so anyway, that's another story. Let's see here. Yes, Mika, do we carry karma from other timelines in this lifetime or only generational via DNA? Well, karma is an interesting thing because what I experience that to be is the places that we didn't let go in other lifetimes. So the journey that we're talking about here, about truly being present and allowing ourselves, when that did not happen in other lifetimes, then you will pick up where you left off. And so, you know, but it's so multidimensional at this stage of the game that I feel like that we are all unwinding many aspects of our journey, really, is what it is. It's the roles that we played, the characters that we played, and but these characters is energy and frequency. So when you're talking about moving through lineage and things like that, it's a energetic thread that carries through from an experience that your soul chose to experience, that we are here to go to that sort of beginning place and come into the 0 point there. We come into that 0 point, that beginning place, we release the entire thread. And this is kind of what's happening on an energetic level, is what's happening. And that's kind of way I see what we call karma. It's not like a punishment, it's not anything, it's just I didn't complete what I desired to do, which the full desire of life itself is the experience of it from our soul perspective. So when we haven't accomplished the experience of it is when it's going to take us back into it. That's really the way that I experience that. Hopefully that makes sense. When I tap into this, there is the sense, if I were to fully own the empowerment that comes from those parts, it can't be trusted to use that power kindly. Yeah. Okay, so that's the interesting thing. Do you have any idea how someone can dig into those places to heal? So Melissa, that's exactly what I'm talking about here. See, that is because you participated in a timeline when we abuse power. And so what's going to happen in this lifetime, and I've shared this a little bit, is that because we've all played on both sides of the fence, and so we've been both perpetrator and perpetrated. Well, we make an agreement that we come into this lifetime to just hold light. And we make that agreement because holding light or just showing up as pure source consciousness, no other frequency can sustain itself in source except source. And we're just here to match frequencies. That's all we're doing in human existence, to be comfortable with matching frequencies. So I make an agreement that I'm not going to participate in this. I don't want to participate. So, I come in to this lifetime, we come through the veils of illusion, so we forget. And then we come in with family and lineage of things we participated in before. So on the one side of the coin of having been perpetrator, then I said, most likely we abuse power in some way. So what's going to happen in this lifetime is you're not going to know what to do with power. You don't want to be too powerful. You don't want to be too weak. So it's going to hang in this weird limbo state. And on the other side of the coin, having been perpetrated, victimized, you're not going to know what to do with vulnerability. So, you don't want to be too vulnerable, not vulnerable enough. So it's going to hang in this weird limbo. So this is going to be the existence that we're doing, and we're constantly flipping and playing the game. So the way out of that is to drop into the neutrality, to the authentic 0 point present moment, and have an authentic experience myself. That's how I know, when I get to know myself, when I get to know my own heart of what I can and can't do, or what I will do. And when we have the fears, it's because those timelines are still playing out behind the scenes. There's another piece that's going on here too, though. But say we had a lineage with, say, like the Anunnaki collective, and we have an awareness where we abuse power in some way, and we're still in that place in this lifetime of questioning, can I not? The questioning opens up a portal for those energetics that are still playing out. They know who you are, you don't remember who you are, for them to keep having you second guessing. So the way out of that, and to close those portals, is to drop into that neutrality and remind yourself that there's nothing to fear but fear itself. Letting go, get to know yourself. The more that I do that, then there's no influence. You want to think about it just like, an influence there going, come on, you want to go doing this. And you're like, nah, I'm not. No, I'm not interested in that. No, not, and then we're closing off those energetics. It's a practice, and being loving, it is about authentic love, unconditional love here. We do this with loving. We don't need to do it as a protection because I'm source consciousness. It's more like just an awareness, like, no, I'm not interested. It's not something I'm interested in. Okay, Christina, sorry, I forgot to add a question mark. Oh, how do you recommend to integrate, unify our dimensions, layers, e.g. emotional disassociation? Well, to integrate is to feel, you just really have to allow yourself to feel and be the witnessing observer of this being feeling. So sometimes if it's like a younger version or past life or something like that, there's just these energies, and sometimes it can feel chaotic. It can feel like insanity type of stuff. And when we just are the witnessing observer of it, like sort of holding space for this you and knowing, just really coming into that 0 point and allowing and letting go. It's like allowing those energetics to shift and move, because what we're doing is we're trying to hold on. But when we hold on, we're continuing to play the role of the character. But when I'm allowing myself, because sometimes you won't know, the energetics are so intense. It's like, oh, something's coming out. I don't know what I'm feeling. That's okay. Just allow it, knowing that there's no fear. I'm going to let it play out. And sometimes we'll cry or we'll scream or things will come out. And if you allow that, sometimes you'll actually have a vision or you'll have an awareness of something that's coming through the energetics that's releasing. But as you allow yourself to, and sometimes what's helpful, if you remind yourself of your current present moment. I am in this room right now. I am safe. I'm good. I'm in this body. I'm comfortable. Everything's great right here, right now, because this is only going on within me. You remind yourself of that so that the dialogue doesn't go into, and start to take you out of that present moment. So you remind yourself, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm just allowing this experience to come forward. I work a lot with this, so if it becomes overwhelming, of course, you can have a session. Many of the courses that are on my website help with all of this. There's many different types that are there. All the activations will help bring this into the 0 point. So there's a lot of resources for that. Okay. Monica, sorry, I need a drink of water. Oh, a lot of energy here today. Hi, Cathleena, you mentioned suicide. And what about somebody who dies in a violent accident? What does it mean, or what is the impact of it on a spiritual level for that person or soul? Well, it depends on that person or soul. We're all sovereign beings, and we all have a life path, and we don't often know what that life path is for each individual. So that it just depends on what that individual chose to learn. There's lessons in everything. And that's why it's challenging for us who are here to begin to guess into it, because we don't always know what the journey is for that particular soul and what they chose. My only suggestion is to have the recognition that they are source consciousness as well. And that as source consciousness, they are making choices as to their things that they chose to experience. To me, that makes it easier. If things like that are easier, it's always challenging in our human life to experience things like that and to experience individuals that leave. But I find it easier to have that recognition that we all are source consciousness. Oh boy, a lot of energy. I'm just going to move some of this energy out. It's good. Okay, Destiny, I was wondering if we could do an alignment of all bodies and to help us more present in the now moment. Yeah, we'll do a little something in a little bit, Destiny. Bridget, the new children being born, and when we incarnate, will be awake and free from the old matrix. Well, I think that a lot. I mean, I'm certainly experiencing a lot of the children are amazing. They're coming in with so much awareness, and yes, a lot of the energetics. There is a a new human that I am aware of, energetics that has coming into being. But we are as well. We're coming into our original blueprint, our original template. We're coming into the awareness of our pure Christ consciousness of who we are. You know, that we're shining light upon who we really are. So yes, there's a lot of shift going on within the genetics of humanity. It's being brought back to the law of one, to universal law and order, because the distortions and the manipulations in the energetics are not aligned to universal law, which in that is the infinity aspect, where this has been a finite. So, you know, and this is a lot that I do when I'm stepping in with a person, is reorganizing the geometry to the finite. And I've mentioned this once before. I refer to it as the God quotient, which I can see that was taken out, and it was taken out at a quantum level of the DNA, which is basically, it's like a calibrator of love frequency. We are love frequency, but this is kind of a calibrator of it. So when it is communicating with the DNA, it communicates pure source light at a level that allows for the awareness of ourselves as source, and the infinite connectedness as one to occur. And this is what's being brought back in, is something that I know I'm bringing in as my energetics. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but it is definitely within the energetics that I'm feeling that is that's occurring, where we're allowing for this to be engaged at the quantum level of our DNA, so that in itself is going to shift everything. It has the greatest possibility of, you know, completely shifting the physical body to the origination. You know, we're not really not meant to die, but we're certainly not meant to die at the ages and all the different things that are going on. So it's already in the process of doing these things, and everything that we're talking about here, everything that we're doing is allowing this to come into reality in the physical world. Let's see. That power of vulnerability piece, you're welcome. I'm curious, I seem to be around many people with addiction issues. I'm an observer of it and wonder if it's a way to get ready for another life and what the soul may want to experience. Addiction is a huge piece on the planet. It is, I would say, it is one of the false frequencies of infinity trying to show up as that, because it has this energy of connectedness, of feeling in general, but of certainly of reaching some kind of feeling, perspective, goal, something like that, but it's all an illusion. And so it's a very big frequency that's playing out on the planet of avoidance is basically what it's doing. And so to insert addiction frequency into the collective allows for the avoidance of the awakening of who you are. So it's definitely a huge frequency that's playing out. And it's, I mean, because it is connected to avoidance. You know, when you have addictions, you're one focus, you're in a certain pathway, but it's an illusion of authentic life and growth and so on. It's an inverted version of that that's coming to light, actually, more and more so. Ooh. Anybody can read my previous message question. It's been ignored after posting twice. Alice, I haven't seen your question. Right below. I think you're having the same thing as Jessica last time. So I'm not seeing your question for some reason. I don't know why. I can see your post. I just did total of 3. Suppose I can see that, but for some reason, I don't know why I'm not seeing your question. If anybody else can see the question that can actually post it for her, I'll gladly take a look at it. But I have not seen your question. I've been going through everything that I'm seeing here. I don't know why this is doing this. Sometimes it just does. Let's see. For suicided people, why did you say they carry the same frequencies after leaving physical body? Oh, because they do. Because there's this illusion that when you step outside the physical body, you feel relief. You're like the energy changed. It doesn't. It's the same. So whatever drove that person to actually take their life, as soon as they're out of the body, they have the same energy. It doesn't magically change and shift. It's not that it can't, and it does shift as they do work on the other side of, or having left the physical body. But it doesn't. It's not like you pop out of the physical body and you're suddenly at a higher frequency. You are energy and frequency, so you're carrying those same energetics through. That's what I'm talking about. I heard it's designed by their soul which way they choose to leave, which means including killing themselves. Yes, they can actually, yeah, but that doesn't mean that the energy relieves them of anything. Yes, it can be their lessons, and as of course, because it's the soul has an agreement of whatever they're choosing. But I'm just saying, from the human perspective of what we're doing here in our little human life, that draws us to that, what we believe. Yes, it's in a bigger picture. There's definitely something else that's happening. But from our human perspective, there's this idea I can have relief from something, but it doesn't work that way energetically. I think there is a sense of relief in that I'm shifted out of the density of this collective here, but I'm still having that energetics. That's why I said that if we've created that in some lifetime, then you come back into this lifetime later, another lifetime, then most likely in that lifetime, you're not going to feel like you can connect to anything, because you're carrying where you left off, of having left and not made it, so to speak. Hope that makes sense. What about now? I break the question into 2 messages. Yeah. Did you mean their density shift, become lighter, not their energy? Well, they are energy. So the frequency, let's just say the frequency of their energetic field has a less dense aspect to it, because you're no longer in the physical reality. But the energetics, the geometry is still there. If you are very sick and die a slow, painful death, that physical pain doesn't carry on, does it? Not physical pain, no, but the energetics of what that is, depending on your life lesson, depending on what you have come to learn. There's many people that have transitions that when they get towards the end, they're able to release and complete what they came to do, and so that transitions out, and that does happen. It just really depends on what you came to learn. You go over the allowed characters that won't show on YouTube. Oh, okay. I guess Bridget's just telling about the questioning. Ooh. All right. Wow. A lot of energy here. What I'd like to do actually is just go into the energy here and expand this, because I think there's a lot of energy that's here, and just step into all of your energy and be able to open it up a little bit broader, and take out some of the mind chatter that I feel that's kind of contemplating here, and expand through the heart space. That's what I like to do. Thank you, lighthearted. Everyone else. Well, I have messages. Yes. If someone from your family, suicide, my aunt, my mom's sister, will have any impact or imprint on further line, future line. And what can I do to clear that? Yeah. Well, it's really more, like I said, in your own energetics, as to what life lessons that you chose to experience. I feel like when we can realize that it's all source consciousness, and just begin to ask myself, like, how is this impacting me? In what way is this impacting me? And if I can bring that into that neutrality point inside myself, that's when I feel like that, where I can feel it, that we allow for its purpose within our reality. When I am in the place of neutrality with the experience of what it is. Okay, let's go into the energy here deeper, because I think there's just a lot that's taking place. So if you guys want to participate, you can close your eyes and take some deep breaths. I'm just going to open up this field. And I think all that you guys have brought in, and all the questions that you brought, and all of the concerns, and all the individuals, if you just open your hearts to this whole experience, in this now moment, we can together within this energetic field begin to release out any densities that are connected to any of these experiences, whether it's a personal experience or a family experience, or anything that you're holding within your energetic field, of any fears, any doubts, any things like that. I'm just bringing this into a field, and I'm going to expand this out. So we're going to bring this into this. It's like a sphere of pure source light and pure source consciousness. So take some deep breaths, and I want you just imagine breathing all of this, your concerns and all of that, into this sort of bubble of pure source light. It's like your breathing is going to blow it in. You're going to blow it into this field, and I'm going to expand that field out. Just going to begin to alchemize this and dissipate this, and allow for the imprints to be released, and the soul fragments to be brought back into my reality. So it's like we're receiving the wisdom and releasing all that no longer serves me with it. And just keep breathing and allow, just blow into this bubble as I'm expanding this. Continue to expand the space. I'm just going to keep letting go. We're letting go of all fear, all fight or flight, all the victimizer frequencies, the holographic inserts, conscious traps, reversal timeline loops. I'm just going to open up the heart space, just allowing this. I'm just expanding that 0 point within your heart space. I'm opening up the solar plexus as well. This is the place we identify ourselves, and just giving permission to bring forward any of your identification of self in this now moment. Just let it come forward. There's no judgment. We're letting go of all judgment. It's just whatever I'm feeling. If I'm feeling scared, if I'm feeling happy if I'm feeling whatever. We're just letting it come forward. I'm just encouraging that from the solar plexus to just come forward in this beautiful space of pure prime creator. We created in this 0 point, just an opportunity to breathe, to let go. Just an opportunity just to let go. Just letting go. It's great. Just keep breathing. It's going to bring this really forward. Just bringing light. Just bringing light to these aspects of self. Just shining the light upon them. Shining the light. That's good. Nice big breath. Just going to keep shining the light upon it. It's safe to be me. It's safe to be free. It's safe to show up. I am that. Beautiful. Just keep allowing. Expand that a little bit more. Just keep letting go. Letting the fears. I'm stepping a little deeper into the heart space because I can feel. Let the emotions come out. If there's emotions, let them. I'm just going to disconnect that mind a little bit because I can feel there's some mind chatter. There we go. Just going to allow. That's great. Now we're just going to let that drop right into the heart space. Just open up this a little bit more into the heart space. Deep breath. Just allowing this energetics. It's good. Deep breath. Just keep allowing. There we go. Just bringing more and more forward. I'm just bringing everybody very, very present. Just really into this present moment, the present moment of the no thing and all possibilities as our multidimensional self. Bring you right present. And as I bring you really present, I want you to start to really dream and feel what you desire. What is your true heart's desire? Just start to imagine it and feel it. Feel it in this now moment. Just allow it. Breathe it. Yeah, I'm just going to expand it a little bit more. Just letting go. And disconnecting the mind. So we're not going into where we think we are. We're just, there we go. That's it. Beautiful. I'm going to drop in the frequency of divine abundance. You're going to bring in the central sun. It's a very bright, bright golden light. We're going to drop this into your field. I'm going to let this integrate in the mental, physical, spiritual, and etheric fields of your body. I am divine abundance. I'm going to connect this with the Golden Grid network of Sophia Gaia so that it's connected across this entire planet. So that as you continue to let go, as you continue to breathe and show up in this present moment as divine abundance, all that is in synergy and harmony with you has to come into reality with grace and ease from this entire earth experience. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Okay. Beautiful. All right, let me know how you guys are doing. How's everybody feeling? This might be still blissed out. A lot of energetics here. Yes, Alice, I guess there's only so many letters. You're welcome. Let's see. Beautiful. Yeah. You're welcome. Amina. Lighthearted, great. Beautiful. Yasminka, beautiful. Goodwin. Light, beautiful. Lissy, wonderful. Great. Great. Glad you guys are feeling amazing. I would, you can step into this field as often as you want, and imagine, what it brought you into was the 0 point field of pure prime creator. So if you allow yourself to step into this field and continue to let go, and then just start to imagine and dream about the life that you truly desire, and really allow yourself to feel that you are creating it. So it is, we are doing it. We are creator beings. Praising off the pillar of light and golden sun, expanding and connecting the earth. Beautiful, Christina, lovely. All right, well, I am gonna end, I think, for today. Thank you. You're welcome. Any last questions before I sign off here? You're welcome. And again, if you like this, like it, share, subscribe, if you can. There's also donations if you choose. That's also a part of it. So, and I will see you guys next week. I think. Sometimes I take a week off. My co-host, I think, will be back next week. She's been gone for several weeks now because she's been traveling. But I'm also looking forward to her coming back as well, and see where we will go. Many blessings. Thank you. All right. Well, I hope you all have a fantastic night, evening, day, wherever you are. And I look forward to seeing you guys all again soon. So many blessings. Take care.